Okay, hello and welcome to an SEO Hangout with Josh Brzezinski. That would be myself. Today I've got some major news for you. Some crazy stuff has been leaked from Google this week. John Mueller is back from vacation, and so the craziness ensued. I have really, without trying not to be too hyperbolic, but still, there's some crazy stuff that just been released lately. So I'm going to get right to it, and I'll build up to it. So the first one is Uber indexing. Some people wonder, why it takes so long for my site to get indexed, why it takes so long to get spidered. It doesn't actually take that long. John Mueller says that if they have many great signals, they can spider a new site in minutes. So if they have a lot of great signals, they'll spider your site within minutes. And so some people have to wait weeks. That means that they don't have a lot of great signals. So what kind of great signals are we talking about? Well, there's social, obviously. If you have a strong social presence already correlated, then they'll be spidering the site faster. Links, obviously, if you have a link spike, they think you might be going viral, they'll spider the site faster. If you're having also a traffic spike, and if they can track that through Chrome or the toolbar or through Firefox or through the SERP page or whatever else, they'll obviously tracking that, and that's another good signal, another great signal, as quote unquote, as John Mueller said. A good click-through rate from the SERP would be a great signal, and like the page is on a clear topic. If you have your page, it's on a clearly it answers query X, Y, Z. If it's going to clearly solve a problem for them, that's another great signal that, hey, maybe we should test this page out and see how well it does. So they can spider, if they have those great signals and they think your site is great, it's like a trending traffic or link spikes, or maybe it's a new site or a new page or new cluster of pages in your site, they'll spider that within minutes if they think it's great. So that should give you some indication of, one, how long it should take, and two, how high quality your site really is as far as Google's concerned, depending on how long that takes. The next is the 950 penalty, or the 900 penalty, or what John Mueller called, and I quote, the last page penalty. Could this possibly be real? A lot of people have said, no, this can't be real. Google doesn't do this. This is not real. Wrong. It is. The 900, the last page penalty is real. The 950 page penalty is, and I quote, a real thing from John Mueller says, and it is essentially a combination of algorithms that think your site sucks for various reasons. And it happens when they, and I quote, can't trust the site, end quote. And so, and he then went to specifically, explicitly say why they can't trust it. He says, for example, if it's a thin affiliate, quote unquote, or if it has dupe content, quote unquote, including scraped sites, right? Or if there's any keyword stuffing or hiding, quote unquote. These explicitly is what he said. And then he talked a little bit longer, and he went on and to say that also bad usage metrics are going to, if it's a low quality site and the users are not liking the site, quote unquote. So if it has bad usage metrics, bad SERP click-through rate and bounce back and retry, and if it just has non-trusted links from industry sources. So he says how to remedy it. So it's a real thing, believe it or not, which is much to my surprise. A lot of people thought that this is, this is SEO old wives' tales, like the Sasquatch or something. Okay, so how do you fix it? Well, he says basically it's a matter of low quality. So it's the same thing I've been talking about and he's been talking about for a few months now. And it's a Panda issue, and it's an algorithmic, ongoing algorithmic issue. So what you need to do is, and I quote, you need to get as many others as possible, end quote, to critique this site, to tell you if it looks salesy, too salesy, if they trust it or not. Those 22 questions or 23 questions that Amit Singh all posted, that's the kind of feedback that you need from and he keeps stressing, a wide source, as many different people as possible. Don't just ask your mom and your sister. You got to ask like 100 people. If you can get a focus group, a huge focus group going, then you should definitely try and do it, because then the biases will start to kind of weed out, and you'll start getting more of the kind of a general idea of what everyone thinks of your site. And unbeknownst to you, they might think that it's spammy. They might think it kind of looks dated. There's any number of reasons why. Maybe the main content is below the fold and they have to scroll, they don't like it. Maybe the server is slow and you didn't even know. So there's all kinds of reasons why this could be the case, and the focus group or at least an unbiased, impartial study is the kind of thing you need to do. So, and he said, and I quote, if you're on the 5th page, it's not so bad. But if you're on the 10th page, it's really bad. So, I don't know. And then Rob, I can't remember his last name, on the Hangout said, well, if we're on the 5th page, it still sucks pretty bad. I mean, we're not getting any traffic on the 5th page. So, you know, but that gives you an indication of you know, how easy it would be to fix. What page you're on is how easy it would be to fix these quality issues. And of course, there could be linking issues there as well, and there could be manual penalties there as well. But he was only talking about algorithmic. So all this usage stuff is all algorithmic, right? Okay, the next point. Speaking of spammy tactics, so some people worry sometimes when their e-commerce software sticks a keyword in their URL quite often. So if I use my Red Apples example, so if I had redapples.com / buy the best red apples / 2013 red apples / green red apples, or something like that. Probably doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. It sticks the product name in there a bunch of times. I asked John Mueller because I had a customer who had this problem. And I didn't think it would be an issue because stuffing in the URL is usually not an issue. It's when you stuff in the title and the URL and the embedded keywords and in your page. That's usually when you have a problem. So I said, okay, and you repeat it a couple times in each places? But I didn't know just about the URL. So I asked, he said, no, not a problem at all. You do not have to worry about this at all whatsoever. And in fact, my reading between the lines, my opinion, is that actually it would be okay if you had it once in there. Definitely once. You want the keywords in the URL once, if possible, anywhere in the URL string, not just in the domain name, but in the path as well, or the file name is good too. And if it happens once or twice or 3 times, it's not going to be an issue. Again, what you want to avoid is you don't want to have in your title tag, red apples, get the best red apples here, I love red apples, and then in the URL, you don't want that kind of a thing, right? Because they know, Google knows that the e-commerce packages, sometimes you can't control them, or the WordPress, sometimes you can't control it. And it might stuff the keyword a few times in the URL string. That Google says explicitly is not a problem. Okay, so here's the next thing. He wanted to remind, quote unquote, and when it comes to links, and if you're wondering where you should be putting links, and even if you have a good quality link that's naturally donated on an otherwise spammy looking page, or a page that has a lot of other spammy looking links, is that a problem? The answer is yes. Yes, of course it's a problem. Because, quote unquote, we do have false positives, John Mueller tells us. So when the manual team is manually looking over some links, and they escalate up in terms of the percentage chance of suspicion, they escalate up and the manual team looks at them. And their manual team is about, I don't know, a couple 10,000 people in India at the moment, so they can look at quite a few links, although not all of the billions of links that are out there. And when that happens, they do have false positives. They'll look at a page, and if there's like 20 spammy-looking links, and then there might even be a couple good ones, they'll declare the whole thing suspicious, and they'll mask no-follow all those links. So bear in mind that they can have false positives. And so if you have good quality or links that you know are organic, it doesn't matter. This is not a fair system. No one said this is a fair system, right? They do have false positives, there are edge cases, and they will sometimes just mask no-follow, especially with this new disavow business. They are algorithmically mask no-following backlinking pages, even if you have a genuine, honest-to-God, donated organic link on it. So, bear that in mind when you're choosing your linking pages. All right, the next set of holy crap things. Okay, the next thing is, again on this user metrics, again he mentions the user metrics. So he was asked, so he's been mentioning that a lot. So someone actually went, it wasn't me, someone actually went and asked him specifically, okay, what metrics exactly are you using? Are you using this? Are you using time on page, using return visitors, using bounce rate? And he says, he admits, we don't use bounce rate alone. We don't use bounce rate alone. So bounce rate is when they're on the SERP, they click your thing, they go to your page, and they bounce from your page back to the SERP in under a number of certain seconds. Depends on which tracking software you're using. For analytics, I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. I have no idea. But I know it's like under 10 seconds for sure. That is the bounce rate. Now, other people can mean, so that's the SERP bounce rate. When people talk about bounce rate, they can also mean on the page. So here's your site, they click to one page, they click to another page, and they bounce back to the second page. Well, they're still on your site. That's bounce on site. So you have to be very clear what bounce rate means. So I think in this context, he was talking about bounce back to SERP. So they don't track bounce back to SERP. But they do, he says, aggregate signals, and they do split tests in rankings. And they do test the rankings and change the rankings, quote unquote, to test to see which sites people like better. So he's admitted this many times, and again, he's admitted, they do not track bounce rate alone. That's not the metric you need to watch out for. The metric you need to watch out for is one you don't have any access to, but you can only approximate through analytics, is that you need to watch click-through to your page, that percentage, and then you need to watch bounce from your page back to the SERPs under a certain time. Because you can guess, unless you're running a lottery site or a weather site or a site where they get their information very quickly, unless you're under that paradigm, you do not want them bouncing under 2 seconds. Who could possibly read something in 2 seconds? And if you think the user is unsatisfied and they're not finding what they're looking for on your page based on the keyword, and they're clicking something else, this is the problem. This is the exact problem they're tracking, and he just admitted that they're doing. So make sure you get a good person who can analyze that data for you, or analyze the data yourself and figure out how that is working for you, because I've seen it kill sites in rankings, and I've seen sites improve when they improve that metric alone. Okay, the second to last big thing is the disavow tool. The question was asked by me, if you have a manual notice, in fact multiple manual notices for unnatural links, but there's been absolutely no ranking shift, there's been no change in rankings whatsoever, is it worth it to disavow the links? Now, some context. If you've received an unnatural link notice and then your rankings do take a plunge, then it is clearly worth it to disavow some links, the worst links that are probably not giving you any link juice and could be causing a problem, so that you're mitigating the maximum amount of risk. Those are the links you want to get, and if you don't know how to calculate them, email me and I'll show you how. It's quite easy. But what if you got the unnatural link notice, but you had no drop in ranking? So what do you do then? Well, he says, and I quote, it is the webmaster's choice. It is the webmaster's choice whether he or she should decide it's too risky to disavow the links, because, of course, when you go and disavow links, you're running the risk of negative SEOing yourself. Because when you disavow the links, you're telling Google, no, follow all these links. Get rid of all the link juice from all these links, either good or bad, right? And unless you really know what you're doing, you are bound to get some good links in the mix and then reduce your page rank altogether. However, sometimes there's two kinds of manual penalties. The one manual penalty is completely algorithmic, typically. And it is when they start ignoring suspect links. And so they mass ignore them. They set them to no follow automatically, whether or not they say no follow in the HTML. And sometimes they send you a message saying they're going to do that. It used to be, and sometimes apparently is now, that it just gives you the same message. And then sometimes it used to just say, remember July in 2012, they sent out a message, and then Matt Cutts made his video, oh, I'm sorry, it means this, blah, 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 that they are just ignoring backlinks. So they're just ignoring your backlinks algorithmically. There's nothing you can do. You don't have to disavow them, and you shouldn't risk disavowing them, because A, you never know exactly what they are, so you're bound to get false positives in there and negative SEO yourself. And two, the damage is already done. You can't fix it. The other kind of manual penalty is one where you have too many suspect links. You've gone over some kind of threshold. People have speculated it's around 50 to 60%, 65%. That is kind of semi-backed up by Google, because people have asked, what's the threshold? And then John Mueller's been like, oh, lots, most, more than half, something like that. Because they've also asked the question on the other end for negative SEO, when should I start worrying? So he's given the answer to both questions numerous times, like 5 or 6 times over the last 8 months. And so if you pay attention, if you've been paying attention like me, because you've been very diligently studying John Mueller's Hangouts, stalking him online, if you've been doing that like me, you get to see him answer the same question 20 times. And he answers it slightly differently every time. So you start to kludge together the meaning of what it all means, right? So, yes, if you have a manual penalty where from too many suspect links that have over threshold, a true dyed-in-the-wool manual penalty where a person has actually gone, nope, penalized, and then they penalize the entire site. That could be very subtle. It could be just a very subtle drop in rankings, or it can be a huge plummet in rankings, right? Depending on how suspect and how much they decide to penalize you. So if that's happened, then you probably should do a disavow. It's probably worth the risk. Unless you're in your busy season, you don't want to mess with your rankings right now. If your rankings are where they are, you don't want to mess with them because January and February are your busy seasons, okay, well then don't. Then leave it alone. But then after that, or when the risk is not so great, it might be worth it to disavow, to get someone who really knows how to find those bad links, disavow the worst links that have the best chance of giving you no link juice, but are still seemingly harming you because they look unnatural, and then put those in a disavow, and then go through that process and do the manual request for reconsideration. Because then you can actually see an improvement in rankings, and a lot of my clients have seen it, and other people have already documented this online quite well. So you have to bear that in mind, and if in any doubt, you can always contact me. Again, my Twitter is Josh Bashinsky. My email is joshbashinsky@gmail.com. And while I'm remembering to do this, this is my contact me spiel. While I'm remembering it, you can watch all my other SEO videos at /jbashins on YouTube, JBACHYNS. You can also just Google JBACHYNS, and YouTube is the first thing that comes up. Okay, last and certainly not least, probably the biggest news. I ran an experiment to see just how well social does. Would you believe that a site with no backlinks whatsoever can have a page rank of 3? No? Well, you're wrong. It can. I've done it. From social. Yes, from social. From Twitter and Facebook in this particular case. Maybe Google+? No, just Twitter and Facebook. So, I have a site, and for those of you who really want to check it out, I don't want to put it on here because I don't know if the client would really want a bunch of people going on there. I don't want any negative SEO or any crap like that. But if you really want to check it out, I can show it to you. And I know you can also check out the Google Hangout because I showed it to John Mueller. And I have a site with a page rank of 3. It's got some internal linking, but this is no longer 2001, 2002. Way back when I started doing SEO in 1999 to 2000, a few years after that, in 2001, if you had a proper site structure, you could actually get a page rank of 3 just from having a proper internal site structure with no external links whatsoever. You know, of course, you have the index page here, and you have this page and this page and this page, all clearly pointing to it with text links that are easily spiderable. You could get a good, so if you had your standard site with info about us, contact us, what we sell, what we do, if all those pages pointed back to the index page should have a page rank of 3 easily. However, it has been many, many years since that has been the case. I have not been able to do that since 2001, 2002. So, definitely not in 2007. This was not working anymore. You needed external links for such a high page rank as 3. So the question is, how does a site with no external links get a page rank of 3? Well, I have a site that I was SEOing for, I hadn't got around to do the on-page on it even. And when I went to do the on-page on it, it had a page rank of 3. And I had told the clients to do social about a year ago, and they put their web address in their website field in their Facebook page and in the Twitter page. So they have really good Facebook and Twitter followings. And they have a page rank of 3 from that. So I asked John Mueller, can you get a page rank of 3 now? Does the page rank, does the toolbar page rank actually also include the social signals as well as the linking signals? And he did not deny it. He did not say no, it doesn't. He waffled on the question and said there are many signals that are part of that page rank thing. Mumble, 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 mumble. So I don't know exactly how to interpret that, but the way I interpret that is yes, they are using social signals in the PageRank algorithm, because he did say that previously, that, and I could find the exact hangout if you want the reference, but he did say previously in this year that when he admitted in January that they are using social signals, he did say they're just counted as links, quote unquote. And so if they're just counted as links, they're part of the PageRank algorithm. And so, holy crap, you can do social and get PageRank that way. And not just a little bit of PageRank, seemingly a lot of PageRank. 3 points of PageRank, 3 full points there is fairly considerable. And my clients, they had a really good social presence, but they're not Coca-Cola by any stretch of the imagination. They only had a few hundred followers on Facebook with some, their posts are getting good likes and good shares, but not like They got, not like anything super crazy there. And of course, their Facebook fan page is public. That's all public. Google can spider that. So I don't know where that cut off, but the long and short of it is that I do have a site that has a page rank of 3, and there's one from social, apparently from social, and there's one last trick I did. The site has no links whatsoever, except from Twitter and Facebook. Technically, they're links because they're in the website field for Facebook and Twitter, pointing back to the site. And then there's one or actually 2 tricks left that I think cinches the loop and I think increases the page rank, and really got that page rank of 3 from just doing social alone. And so I'm going to leave those nuggets out there. I'm not going to tell you what they are because it's part of my secret sauce in my social packages that I'm doing. But if you want to know more about this and how to do this, it's great because there is absolutely no risk downside, right? Facebook and Twitter are not going to ban you from using their because I'm not suggesting you get an algorithmic bot to start spamming up Facebook and Twitter. No, nothing like that. It's totally white hat, and it's completely nothing that Google can penalize. And you can get a pretty good page rank from it. I think a page rank of 3 from our new site is pretty darn good. I had no SEO done to it except for the social stuff, which at the time I didn't even realize was SEO, because this was last year when social signals weren't helping it to rank as much, or seemingly at all, or the data was all happenstantial or circumstantial. So if you want the proof, if you want to get some more knowledge on these secret tricks that I'm doing, there's 2 tricks specifically to doing it that I haven't mentioned already. All you have to do is email me, and because I'm using them in my social package, so I'd be happy to discuss it with you a little bit more. So again, you can contact me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com. At Twitter, you can contact me at joshbashinsky. And again, my YouTube page for all of this, all of my SEO hangouts is /jbashins. It's JBACHYNS. And yeah, so pretty crazy stuff about the social. I didn't think that would ever be possible. But holy crap, you can get a page rank of 3 from just doing social with just a couple neat little tricks that I don't see anybody else doing. But if you want to know what they are, you'll have to talk to me. You'll have to send me an email because I'm working them into part of my package, so I don't want to just release them out. It's my secret sauce. I have to have some secret sauce. Okay, so thanks very much for watching, the few viewers that I see that are watching, and thanks very much for everyone who's watching this later on. Again, my name is Josh Bashinsky. If you have any SEO questions whatsoever, by all means, contact me. And I do these SEO hangouts, or I should start calling them SEO rants, every Tuesday at around 5:30 to 5:45 Pacific time. And just before I'm going to close down right now, but I have to give my apologies to Matt Cutts. We couldn't fit him in on the hangout today. So apologies to Matt Cutts. We ran out of time. But hopefully he'll join us next week. So thanks very much, and see you next week, and good luck in the SERPs.